The Velvet Room Club, one of the dirtiest secrets of Busan's nightlife. Known for its underground trafficking, masked pleasures, and silent screams that no one dares to hear. Your knees were pressed tightly together as you sat at the edge of the plush red velvet couch, ironic considering the place smelled more like liquor, sweat, and rot than any luxury. Eyes watched you. They always watched you. Your wrists still ached from the steel cuffs you'd been forced to wear weeks ago when you tried to run. Now they had loosened the leash, but only because you'd learned to act like a doll. Quiet, obedient, numb. Your stepmother had said you'd never make her proud. Your stepbrother had laughed when they pushed you into that black van. You were born to be sold, he whispered. You hadn't spoken since. Now you were lot number 15. Dressed in a silver chain top that revealed too much, skirt too short, makeup too heavy, it wasn't you anymore. You didn't remember who you were. You only remembered surviving. You watched the door from time to time, counting how long until they dragged you upstairs again. Sometimes you stared at your trembling hands, pretending they weren't yours. That helped. Then something changed. The room froze. Even the men who usually barked orders or laughed cruelly at the girls suddenly quieted. Whispers passed like static. That's when he walked in. John Jong-gook. He wasn't like the others. He didn't leer, didn't laugh, didn't even blink at the half-naked women swirling around him trying to catch his attention. He walked like a ghost dressed in silk and blood, tall, broad-shouldered, his black shirt hugging a body inked with power. His eyes were cold, cold, unreadable cold, deadly, and they landed on you. You flinched under his gaze, your entire body tensing, bracing. Another rich man, another monster. You looked away immediately, pretending to fix the strap of your heel. But he didn't look away. He saw you. Not the chains or the makeup. You.
And that broke something inside. Your lip trembled, but your voice stayed locked in your throat. You backed against the couch, knees trembling, body ready to be punished. You shaky whisper, "Don't, don't hurt me." Jungkook, kneeling slowly in front of you. "I'm not here to hurt you, Angel." You blinked at him. "Angel?" His voice was low, careful, like if he spoke too loud, you'd shatter. "Jungkook, I'm getting you out of here, and if anyone tries to stop me." He looked over his shoulder at So, who was coughing up blood on the floor. Jungkook, growling, "I'll bury this entire building with them inside." You blacked out before you even reached the car. The last thing you remembered was the warmth of his coat being draped over your cold shoulders and his voice. Backseat of a matte black Rolls-Royce Phantom. Rain streaks down the windows. The city lights blur in the reflection of your hollow eyes. The moment the car door closed behind you, your body flinched so violently that the chauffeur briefly looked back through the mirror. Taehyung, from the passenger seat, glancing nervously. She's shaking like she's freezing. Jungkook, low voice. She's not cold, she's scared. You pressed yourself against the far door, arms wrapped tightly around your ribs, lips trembling as if a single word might shatter you. Your eyes never lifted from your knees. You, in your head, silently. What now? Another place? Another man? Was he just another collector? Did I fall into a deeper cage? You didn't cry, not because you didn't want to, but because you'd forgotten how. Tears were a luxury your body didn't allow anymore. Jungkook, softly, eyes flicking to you. What's your name? You didn't answer. You couldn't. Taehyung whispers. She doesn't talk. Club rumors said she hasn't said a word since she was brought in.
Probably. Jungkook's jaw clenched. He shifted slightly, trying not to look directly at you anymore. He didn't want to scare you. He wanted to burn the world that made you this way. A low groan escaped your throat when the car bumped slightly on a pothole. Your hand flew to your ribs instinctively, and Jungkook noticed the movement. Jungkook tense. They hit you? Still, no answer. He didn't expect one. He just stared at your shaking hands, small trembling fists, balled up like you were bracing to be hurt again. And in that moment, something inside Chun Jungkook, a man who never bowed, who never blinked at blood, cracked. He reached slowly to the side, pulling off his coat and gently set it next to you. Not on you, not touching you. Jungkook voice low, careful. It's just a coat. In case you're cold. Your eyes flicked to it, then to him, and back to your knees. But you didn't move away. You didn't run. That was enough for him. 10 minutes later, the car slowed as the gates of Jungkook's mansion opened. Your eyes darted to the towering structure. Dark stone walls, iron gates, shadows creeping along the manicured trees. You whispers for the first time. Am I being sold again? Jungkook turned to you sharply, eyes wide. Jungkook, voice suddenly rough. No, you are not property. Your breath hitched. He leaned slightly forward, hands clenched in his lap. Jungkook, you are a person. You were failed by people who were supposed to protect you. I won't fail you. The words sounded too kind, too warm. You didn't trust them. You didn't trust him. But something inside you, deep, buried under years of fear and filth, wanted to believe him. You, voice voice shaky. What do you want from me? He stared at you, then answered honestly. Jungkook, soft but sure. Nothing you're not ready to give. The car stopped. The chauffeur opened the door, but you didn't move. You froze. Jungkook, standing now, not reaching for you. You can walk on your
Or I'll carry you, but not because I own you, because I'm worried. You looked at him, really looked, for the first time. He didn't smile. He didn't lie. You reached for the coat beside you and wrapped it around your shoulders. It smelled like him, warm, smoky, safe. You stepped out slowly, and he stepped back, giving you space. Jungkook, to himself, watching you walk toward his house. They turned her into a ghost, but I'll bring her back. A grand yet quiet guest room. Soft beige walls, blackout curtains drawn, and the scent of fresh linen and lavender. You opened your eyes slowly. Panic settled in immediately. Where were the red lights, the smoke, the music, the hands? You sat up too fast, your breath hitching, heart slamming into your ribs. The bed was soft, too soft. The silk sheets weren't familiar. You clutched the blanket to your chest, staring around the room like a trapped animal. And then, a soft knock on the door. You flinched. Hey, I'm Leah. I'm coming in, okay? Don't be scared. It's just me. The door creaked open gently, and in stepped a girl in her 20s. Warm face, loose hoodie, hair tied in a bun. She held a tray with warm soup, a sliced apple, and a bottle of water. She didn't come too close, just placed the tray on the nearby table and sat on the armchair across from you. Her eyes were kind. Leah, gently. He told me not to force you to eat, but I know how that place worked. You probably haven't had real food in days. You didn't reply. You just stared at her, arms wrapped around your knees under the blanket. Leah, smiling softly. I was like you too, 3 years ago. Different place, but same horror. Jungkook found me too. Your brows furrowed. Jungkook? She must have seen the question in your eyes. Leah, nodding. He is not like the others. He looks dangerous. And he is. She didn't pity you. She didn't ask questions. Instead, she grabbed a soft hoodie from a nearby chair and walked to the edge of your bed but didn't climb on. You can cover up. You don't owe anyone your skin. Your hands shook as you took it slowly, pulling it over your head. The soft fabric brought a strange comfort. For the first time in a long time, you didn't feel watched, just seen. Leah, quietly, if you need to scream, cry, throw something. This room is yours. You looked at her, eyes glossed. You, broken. Why is he helping me? Leah tilted her head slightly. Leah, because he knows what monsters look like, and maybe he's trying to be the kind of monster
that protects instead of hurts. Meanwhile, downstairs in Jungkook's office, Taeyang, you didn't sleep. Jungkook lighting a cigarette. She cried in her sleep all night. Taeyang, you heard from across the hall? Jungkook, no, I sat outside her door. Taeyang, she's terrified of you. Jungkook, exhales smoke. She should be. Taeyang, carefully. You want her to trust you, don't you? Jungkook, voice low. I want her to breathe again. Back in your room. After Leah left, you sat alone, hoodie tucked around your knees. The soup still sat untouched, but your eyes flicked to the door. And a small thought crept in, a thought you didn't dare say out loud. You, in your head. He didn't lock it. Midnight. The house is silent. Jungkook is wide awake in his study, the firelight casting flickers across his tattoos. The fire crackled low in the corner of his office, but Jungkook sat motionless on the leather couch, elbows resting on his knees, head bowed, eyes bloodshot. He hadn't slept again. He kept hearing your scream. Not out loud, not any more. But the memory of it still pierced his skull. The sound you made when you saw him at the club, that raw, broken panic, had embedded itself deep in his chest, like a bullet. Taeyang's voice echoed faintly from earlier that evening. You can't fix her in one night, Jungkook. You'll scare her more. He knew that. God, he knew that. But when he glanced at the clock, 3:02 a.m., and still hadn't heard anything from your room, a sharp instinct twisted in his gut. He stood slowly, walked up the stairs, and paused outside your door. His tattooed knuckles hovered above the wood. He didn't knock, he just listened. Then a scream, muffled, a sob, a whimper. You were dreaming, and you were reliving hell. Door open. You thrashed beneath the sheets, body twisted, breath coming in gas. You crying in your sleep. Don't touch me, don't, please. Your fists clenched the sheets, and your legs kicked at a phantom threat. Jungkook's body locked up. He didn't know what to do. He couldn't touch you, couldn't risk hurting you more. But watching you suffer in silence tore him apart. YN, he whispered, your name sounding unfamiliar on his tongue, like something sacred. He took one cautious step forward. Jungkook, soft but firm. Hey, it's just a dream. You're safe now. You're not there anymore. You whimpered again, Then suddenly your body bolted upright with a gasp, drenched in sweat, chest heaving, hands clawing at your throat like you couldn't breathe. You looked around wildly, eyes glazed with panic, until they landed on him, standing in the shadows of your doorway, silent, still. And then instinct took over. You lunged forward, not away but toward him. Your hands gripped the front of his shirt. You buried your face into his chest, trembling violently as your breath came out in short, ragged sobs. You, barely conscious. Don't go, don't leave. Jungkook froze. Your fists were balled tightly in his shirt. You weren't fully awake, but something in you, something primal and terrified, was clinging to him like he was the only thing between you and death. Jungkook, hoarse whisper, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere. He slowly, so slowly wrapped his arms around you. Not tight, not claiming, just steady, warm, safe. Your body melted into his like your bones gave out. Your breathing slowed, the shaking dulled, and you finally fell asleep in his arms. Jungkook hadn't moved. You were curled in his lap now, cheek resting against his chest, his coat draped over you again like a shield. He stared down at you, heart heavy and aching with something unfamiliar. He didn't want to leave, didn't want to let go. Jungkook, to himself, voice barely audible. Who did this to you, Angel? The next morning, when you wake, you'll find yourself wrapped in soft blankets, his coat tucked around you, and the scent of him on your skin. But the chair beside your bed is empty, still warm. He was there, he stayed, but left before you could panic again. And on your nightstand, a single folded note in bold, neat handwriting. You don't owe me anything, but you deserve to sleep without fear.